Look, after the Madoff scandal broke the next day, we started talking here in the office. And thank God we weren't really affected by it. We don't have those types of, that's not how our budget works, where something like that was really going to impact us. We were affected because we lost some members, which was tragic more on the human level than on the financial level. But when we were speaking, we said, you know what, there's so many not-for-profits that are going to be really hurt by this. And this was just the day after it was announced. And someone's got to at least have a conversation about what are the possibilities to help. So I sent out an email to a group of foundations and said, look, we're going to host a meeting, and it would be great if you could be there. We really want to talk about not your foundation, but we want to talk about the not-for-profit world in general, the Jewish not-for-profit world in particular, and what we can do to kind of alleviate some of the pain that's out there because of the Madoff crisis. And we brought together this group. There are about 35 foundations there, some of the largest Jewish foundations in America. And we talked about ways that we could help individually, and whether there were ways we could help collectively. And I think in a bad environment and in a bad economy, if you want to get foundations' attention, we have to teach foundations how they can help without just doing more and more grant making, because they're limited as well. Their endowments have shrunk, their available money has shrunk. So just to say to them, spend more money, which we've been telling them, frankly, but just to say to them, spend more money, is not going to solve the problem. So we were looking for ways that foundations could be helpful without only increasing their grant making, though we wanted them to increase their grant making as well. And three of the areas we identified was just sharing information, because everyone had bits of this picture, but no one had all of it. And the web is a great resource for that. Number two is foundations employ a lot of people. They employ lawyers, they employ accountants, they employ planners, they employ consultants. And we said, could foundations use their goodwill with these people who they've been providing a lot of money to over the years and saying, you know what, we'd like you to contribute back. We want your law firm to give some hours to not-for-profits that were affected by Madoff who are going to need legal help now to get their money back. We need your help as an accountant to help people sort through how next year is going to look, et cetera, et cetera. And we put together this resource bank of pro bono hours for not-for-profits. It didn't cost anyone anything, and it provided a lot of value for not-for-profits, and people are using it. And thirdly, this idea of the loan fund. And I think that foundations, to say to a foundation, gee, we want you to give $100,000 more, well, everyone wants them to give $100,000 more. But to say to them, you know what, you could give a little more and you could provide $1 million worth of capital to a not-for-profit that needs it. And in the case of Madoff victims especially, it's not just the bad economy. Every not-for-profit has lost money and lost resources in this economy. That's not the issue. But in Madoff, it was instantaneous. Yesterday they had it, today they don't. And there's no time for a not-for-profit to adjust its budget. There's no time for it to raise the additional money. So we're not looking to solve all the problems and raise all that money. But if we could give them a little breathing space so that they've got a few years where they don't have to fire staff and they don't have to close programs, and they can say, you know what, we're a healthy not-for-profit. We can build up our donor base if we have enough time. We can make the adjustments we have to if we have enough time. But we don't want to turn to high school kids and say, we can't help you anymore. And we don't want to turn to the poor and say, we can't help you anymore. We need that time. And that's what a loan fund can do for them.